What's going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here, and welcome back to my channel. Today's review is going to be part 1 of my review of LiveALive. Big shout out to Square Enix for sending me a copy. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. LiveALive, a turn-based RPG, was originally released in 1994, taking players through several worlds of heroes finding their strength in fighting evil. A simple point with heavy philosophical underpinnings and ideals, LiveALive reincarnated into the modern day with incredible voice acting, turn-based mechanics, and beautifully done graphic work brought me, a turn-based noob, into the world of turn-based games. I've never played a turn-based game before, and playing this for the first time was incredibly intimidating and really epic, actually. This makes me want to play the first Final Fantasies because from what I remember hearing about them is that they are indeed turn-based games. And they're some of the first. I think Final Fantasy, the first one came out in the 80s, correct me if I'm wrong? Seeing as how this was my first true experience with a turn-based game, I was nervous that I wouldn't like it or mesh with it. There's a first time for everything, and seeing as how turn-based games were one of the most important genres, if you will, of gaming, I was treading lightly, but found myself incredibly impressed with how tough it actually was. Turn-based games require planning, thought, and knowing the characters you wield. Now, dealing with Pogo is going to be different than dealing with the Sundown Kid, for example, because there are two different kinds of games, even though they're in one game, if that makes sense. They both have different powers, and each chapter you choose will tell a different story for each character. Now, the mechanics here are new to me, yet easy to maneuver once you get the hang of it. I feel like the toughest thing for me to get the handle of was understanding how different powers or like different things that your character has will affect the enemy in different ways. So like if you have a poison trap that, the Poco's friend could use, it affects the character and affects the enemy over time. So I thought that that was really cool. You could use that and then you could attack it with other stuff. Poco had one where you could fart at the character, which I thought that was so funny. Each character has different abilities and you can fight enemies solo at certain points or in a party of other characters. This game showcases the 90s gameplay in a nutshell while revamping a game that people loved for a more modern audience. Now, for those who have never played a turn-based game before, this is a great way to get into turn-based games because it has each chapter, there are 8 chapters in total that you can go through. It goes through kind of the easiest to the hardest, and then there are some chapters that are just completely story. While there are turn-based elements, there's just complete story elements to them, which I really vibe with. The graphics in this game are incredibly well done. The nostalgia it gave me while being a game I never played before was something sweet, sincere, and powerful. LiveALive does a fantastic job in bringing older games to a new audience, both young and old, and just like newer games, creates an immersion with the voice acting and story. Wild West chapter had me in disbelief. It was like I was watching a movie and being submerged in a really good book. The voice acting then took things to another level entirely, creating a dynamic and atmosphere to completely fall in love with this game. But you guys, that was it for my review, for part 1 of my review for LiveALive. The next part's gonna come out when I finish the rest of the chapters. I have so many different reviews that I'm going over currently right now that balancing different games at the same time has been a bit of a task, so bear with me on that. But if you guys like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. I make videos every day here on YouTube. May you find your worth in the waking world, your hunter. Stay casually nerdy, and I will see you all in the next video. Umbasa.